Shara Bullett's provocation. Shara Bullett's recent remarks were anything but polite. In an interview with Sport24, he confessed he'd be very happy if Dricus lost his belt. To add sting, he claimed he couldn't understand how Dricus managed to snag the middleweight championship in the first place, calling his success a fluke. Fans immediately lit up the comment sections across social media. Some applauded Shara's candor, while others blasted him for lacking respect. It's no secret Shara has stepped into the role of provocateur lately. He's been teasing potential fights on his personal channels, fueling rumors that he's gunning not only for Dricus, but also for anyone aligned with him. His bold confidence and tendency to taunt have earned him both dedicated admirers and fiery critics, who argue that trash talk without backup is a surefire way to lose credibility. Even so, every time Shara opens his mouth, engagement soars. Paddy Pimblett's interaction with Ilya. No one expected Paddy the Batty Pimblett to walk across the weigh-in stage at UFC London with a grin and casually tap fists with Ilya. The moment was as fleeting as it was puzzling. Initially, fans were shocked because the two had seemingly exchanged tense words online, leading many to predict that any face-to-face meeting would involve more than a friendly greeting. But as footage surfaced, it became clear that Ilya had actually saluted Paddy first, and Paddy, always the showman, played along. Observers described the weigh-in scene like a strange standoff that melted into amusement. Paddy broke the tension, and both fighters ended up smirking at each other. Speculation rose. Were they genuinely burying the hatchet, or was this just another cunning tactic to keep fans guessing? After all, Ilya has been stirring the pot lately by claiming the lightweight and featherweight elites, particularly Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira, don't want any part of him. According to Ilya, the top contenders at 155 pounds are either ducking him or ignoring his callouts, insinuating that fear might be the underlying reason. Bisping, Rockhold, and Cheeto, Vera's gym session. Yes, when fans thought they'd seen it all, Michael Bisping popped up at Marlon Cheeto Vera's new gym, looking shockingly spry for a man who's endured so many injuries. Bisping, known for his resilience and no-nonsense attitude, posted light sparring footage that took the MMA community by surprise. After all, this is the same athlete who fought with significant physical limitations for a large part of his career. The fact that he's still strapping on gloves and stepping onto the mats speaks volumes about his passion for the sport. What made this gym session even more fascinating was the presence of Luke Rockhold. Although their rivalry in the past was famously intense, the footage showed a far more relaxed dynamic this time around. Rockhold was there training hard, while Bisping offered words of encouragement and even cornering tips, albeit jokingly. In one clip, Bisping joked that Rockhold didn't need his help at all, poking fun at their rocky history. Terence Crawford and Kamaru Usman debate. Fighter pay. Few debates ignite MMA circles quite like fighter pay. Enter Terence Crawford, one of boxing's pound-for-pound greats, and Kamaru Usman, a UFC champion who's never shy about speaking his mind. The two recently squared off in a spirited discussion about whether MMA or boxing has the financial edge, with Crawford asserting that, on average, boxers simply make more. He backed up his viewpoint by pointing out that even mid-level boxing matchups often yield higher paydays than comparable MMA fights. Usman had a different perspective. He highlighted the entry-level contract structure in the UFC, where newcomers often make something like $10,000 to show and another $10,000 to win. While $20,000 total might sound modest, Usman stressed that these fighters are already in the big leagues. A brand new boxer, still unknown on undercards, might earn just a fraction of that. Yes, top-tier boxers can rake in millions, but countless prospects labor in obscurity, collecting small purses while they try to build a name. Johnny Walker's philosophy on training hard. Amid the clamor of rivalries and pay disputes, Johnny Walker offered a striking piece of wisdom. If you're the best person in your gym every day, you're in the wrong gym. His words resonated with fans and fighters alike, igniting conversations about the value of constant challenge. Walker argues that true progress comes only when you're pushed to your limit. If you're not facing opponents who can tap you out or land a clean shot on you in sparring, you're never forced to adapt. This viewpoint aligns with what many elite MMA athletes have said for years. Iron sharpens iron. The best training camps in the world often gather a roster of killers, each capable of exposing weaknesses in the other. Walker's approach is simple yet relentless. Intentionally seek out coaches and teammates who will beat you up now so that you won't crumble under pressure in a real fight. Gilbert Burns' underdog status. Gilbert Burns is no stranger to adversity. This time, he's gearing up to face Michael Morales at UFC 315. And despite Burns' robust track record, odds makers have labeled him an underdog. Some fans find that puzzling. After all, Burns has gone toe-to-toe with some of the most terrifying names in the division. Fighters like Khamzat Chimaev, and top-ranked contenders who'd make most mortals tremble. But rumors suggest that Morales' well-rounded skill set, combined with Burns' recent injuries, could be swaying betting lines. Renato Moicano, a fighter who's closely followed Burns' career, openly declared he might place a bet on Burns. He expressed confidence that odds makers are overlooking the resilience and grappling prowess that Burns brings to every bout. Moicano brought up how Burns has repeatedly defied expectations by coming back stronger after every setback, reminding everyone of the razor-thin margins in previous fights. He also pointed to Burns' evolution under pressure, particularly in those grueling matches that went the distance. Tom Aspinall's hypothetical heavyweight tournament. In a surprising twist during a recent interview, Tom Aspinall laid out a fantasy bracket for a hypothetical heavyweight tournament that included legends like Cain Velasquez, Frank Mir, Junior Dos Santos, Brock Lesnar, and even Francis Ngannou. Aspinall didn't just list names, he confidently projected knockouts at every stage. He saw himself winning against Cain, predicted Francis would dispatch Brock, and concluded the final would be himself versus Ngannou. What caused jaws to drop was Aspinall's unwavering belief that he'd knock out a prime Francis Ngannou. Critics immediately pounced, calling him overconfident. Others argued that Aspinall's agility and technique might indeed pose a threat to a purely power-based fighter. Aspinall fired back, explaining that while he respects every name he mentioned, he considers himself part of the new breed of heavyweights. He believes this new generation is faster, more technical, and better equipped than some of the past greats. Joe Pyfer's canceled fight. In a major disappointment for fans, Joe Pyfer had to pull out of his scheduled bout against Kelvin Gastelum at UFC Mexico due to a sudden illness. It was the kind of last-minute exit that leaves both fighters and fans crestfallen. Pyfer had been riding a wave of momentum, with pundits calling this matchup his chance to break into the sport's upper echelon. All eyes were on him to see if he could handle Gastelum's experience striking and grappling. Pyfer took to social media to express his heartbreak and apologize to supporters. According to him, the illness struck hard and fast, possibly triggered by traveling outside the United States.